Okay, thank you so much. So, just to begin and just to give you an overview what all we'll be discussing in this session, I would be talking about the crucial aspects of diplomacy, international trade, and the global opportunities that are available for Indian businesses. As we all know, in an interconnected world, diplomacy and international trade play a pivotal role, in shaping economic relations and fostering cooperation among the nations. So for Indian businesses, for understanding and harnessing these opportunities, it becomes, these are like the key for the sustainable growth, and also success in the global market. So it served as a successful venture in the global market. So in this whole session, I'll be delving deeper into these aspects, and I'll be exploring the immense potential they hold for Indian businesses. So to start off, the question comes that what is diplomacy? Because the topic itself says diplomacy and international trade, global opportunities for Indian businesses. So starting off with the first word, what is diplomacy? So diplomacy refers to the practice of conducting negotiations and maintaining relations between states, governments, and international organizations. It involves the skillful handling of relationships, negotiations, and communications to promote peaceful resolutions. It also advances the national interests and fosters the cooperation on various issues of mutual concern. Diplomacy plays a crucial role in international relations by enabling the countries to engage in dialogue and managing the conflicts and achieving the common goals. So in the slide itself, you can see a little small definition about it. I tried to explain you in a very brief way. And also I would also like to explain you with some examples to make it more easier for you. So there are a few examples for this, like number one, diplomatic negotiations, which happened in the Paris Agreement 2015. So the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, they brought together representatives from nearly 200 countries to negotiate the Paris Agreement. This diplomatic effort, it aimed to combat climate change by setting targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, promoting sustainable development, and providing support for developing countries. Another example can be track to diplomacy. As I am the practitioner for track to diplomacy. This type of diplomacy, it involves unofficial or informal channels of communication and dialogue. For example, this includes academic and cultural exchanges and think tank collaborations and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, by facilitating dialogues between the conflicting parties. Track to diplomacy, often it complements official diplomatic efforts, and it can also contribute to building trust and fostering understanding. Okay, coming to the next slide. Now, next word is international trade. So international trade refers to the exchange of goods, services, and capital between the countries. It also involves the import and export of products and services across national borders. International trade plays a crucial role in the global economy by promoting economic growth, specialization, and interdependence among nations. India, talking about, as we are mentioning, we are referring to Indian businesses here, and we are highlighting the Indian part. So India is a prominent participant in international trade, and it engages in various types of trade activities. For example, IT services. India has emerged as a global hub for IT and software services. Indian IT companies, they provide software development, consulting, and outsourcing services to clients worldwide. So companies like Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, everybody has heard about it, and Infosys and Wipro, they have a significant presence in the international market, catering to technology needs of businesses in various countries. Now coming to the next part, the essential objectives of diplomacy and international trade. As we have previously learned about the meaning behind both these topics, now what are the objectives behind it? So the essential objectives of diplomacy and international trade are closely intertwined, and they serve the interest of nations in key objectives of diplomacy and international trade here. Number one, fostering cooperation. So diplomacy aims to foster cooperation and build the positive relationships between nations. Through diplomatic channels, countries engage in dialogues, negotiations, and strategic communication to promote understanding and collaboration. International trade provides a platform for nations to engage in mutually beneficial economic exchanges, fostering cooperation, interdependence. So here we can see both at work, diplomacy and international trade. Their major objective of working together is to foster cooperation. How they foster cooperations. Now, second point, sorry. Our second point would be maintaining peace and security. Diplomacy plays a crucial role in maintaining peace and security among nations. Through diplomatic efforts, conflicts, and disputes. So, through diplomatic efforts, conflicts, and disputes, they are addressed through peaceful means by preventing escalation into armed conflicts. That's the major part. So, also by facilitating diplomatic negotiations and agreements. We hear so much about these new agreements happening, this new MOUs being signed. So, how it works? So, by facilitating diplomatic negotiations and agreements, international trade contributes to stability and reduces the likelihood of conflicts driven by economic competition. Now, number third, promoting economic prosperity. International trade is a key driver of economic prosperity. It provides opportunities for countries to specialize in the production of certain goods and services. It also capitalizes on their comparative advantages and access resources and markets beyond their borders. By engaging in international trade, countries can experience economic growth, job creation, and increased standards of living. Number four, protecting the national interest. Both diplomacy and international trade aim to protect and advance national interests. Diplomatic efforts, they focus on the representing and advocating for a country's interests on the global stage, and the trade negotiations and the agreements these are actually pursued to secure favorable trade conditions, protect domestic industries, and ensure a fair competition. So the goal here is to create an environment that safeguards a nation's economic, political, and strategic interests. Number fifth. So number fifth is enhancing cultural aspects and people-to-people exchanges. So diplomacy and international trade facilitate cultural exchange and people-to-people interactions. Through diplomatic engagements, nations try to promote cultural understanding, foster educational and scientific collaborations, and encourage tourism and cultural exchanges. International trade brings people from different countries together by facilitating the exchange of ideas, knowledge, and cultural experiences. Number six, contributing to sustainable development. We have all heard about sustainable development, the SDG goals, right? We all are aware about that. So diplomacy and international trade can contribute to sustainable development. Diplomatic efforts can focus on addressing global challenges such as climate change, environmental protection, and social issues. International trade can support sustainable practices by promoting environmentally friendly technologies, responsible supply chain management, and adherence to labor standards. Last, establishing a favorable global environment. So both diplomacy and international trade works together and towards basically establishing a favorable global environment for countries to engage in economic relationships. Diplomacy helps to shape international norms, rules, and institutions that promote fair trade, reduce the barriers, and protect intellectual property rights. International trade, it fosters a rules-based trading system and encourages the resolution of trade disputes through established mechanisms. Coming to the next slide. Now, what are the stakeholders which are involved in international trade and diplomacy? So, as we all know, stakeholders, the word itself, it plays a significant role in both international trade and diplomacy. They represent various entities that have an interest in and are affected by these processes. So, I'll be telling you about some major stakeholders in this scenario. Number one is the government. Governments are primary stakeholders in both international trade and diplomacy. So they establish these trade policies and negotiate the agreements and regulate the trade activities. So through diplomacy, government tries to engage in bilateral and multilateral negotiations. I hope that you are noting this down. Bilateral, multilateral negotiations. They also try to represent national interests and shape the international relations. Number two is international organizations. So these international organizations are like WTO, the World Trade Organization, United Nations, UN, International Monetary Fund, IMF. We have heard about these terms, these organizations, and regional trade blocs like the European Union and ASEAN. These are the important stakeholders. So what they do is that they provide a platform for dialogue, coordination, and rule-making in international trade and diplomacy by ensuring the smooth functioning of global economic relations. Number three, business and industry. So business entities, including the multinational corporations, the MNCs, and the small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs, and industry associations, these are the key stakeholders in international trade. So they try to engage in cross-border transactions, investments, and also supply chain activities. So business stakeholders, they try to participate in trade negotiations. They advocate for favorable trade conditions. And also they drive economic growth and employment through these activities. Number four, civil society organizations, the CSOs. So civil society organizations such as the non-governmental organizations, labor unions, and advocacy groups, they play a significant role in shaping international trade and diplomacy. They represent diverse interests, including human rights, labor rights, environmental protection, and social justice. CSOs, they monitor trade agreements and they advocate for fair trade practices and contribute to policy debates, which later results in a policy making. Fifth is academia and think tanks. So academia and think tanks, they provide intellectual inputs and they do research and analysis on international trade and diplomacy. They contribute to policy discussions, provide expertise on trade-related issues, and they conduct research to inform decision-making. They also, they have this group of scholars and researchers which try to collaborate with the government and international organizations to shape trade and diplomatic strategies. For example, recently I went to the embassy of Zimbabwe and I met the trade counselor. So there we discussed how, these aspects of international trade, how we can have a dialogue, how that can result in some sort of an engagement, and what sort of policies can come out from that respective dialogues, that new initiatives can be formed. So government also plays a key role here with the international organizations, and they support the think tanks, in shaping the trade and diplomatic strategies. Last, these diplomatic corps. So diplomatic corps represents the diplomatic personnel of various countries. They serve as key stakeholders in diplomacy and, by engaging in diplomatic negotiations, representing their nation's interests and fostering diplomatic relations. So as you've heard about ambassadors, diplomats, and counselors staff work, they work towards in maintaining the positive bilateral and multilateral relations and resolving conflicts peacefully. So you will be hearing these two words repetitively in this whole session, which is bilateral and multilateral, because this is very important here. Okay, so these people, these diplomatic people, these stakeholders, these ambassadors, diplomats, and consular staffs, they work towards resolving the conflicts in a very peaceful manner, and also, in maintaining a very positive bilateral and multilateral relations. Now, I've given you an overview of how these things work, and how both diplomacy and international trade goes together. But let's just go back to history and see how this ideology, how historical development has taken place in terms of diplomacy and international trade. So you're seeing the PPT, which mentions various civilizations, various centuries, how this all has evolved. So the historical development of diplomacy and international trade, can be traced back to ancient civilizations. And it has evolved over the centuries. So it's not the new concept. It's been here since a long time. So there are some there are some historical developments, which are mentioned here. Number one, the ancient civilization. So diplomacy and international trade, they had their roots in ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China. So these civilizations, they engaged in trade with neighboring regions, establishing the trade routes and networks. Diplomatic interactions took place, and which involved the exchange of envoys, negotiation of treaties, and establishment of diplomatic missions. Now, there are a few major names mentioned here. I'll be just highlighting those. So the Code of Hammurabi, the Code of Hammurabi, it's dating back to ancient Babylon period, 1754 BCE. This actually included the provisions which actually, were in regulating the trade and commercial transactions. So it highlighted the importance of fair trade practices and the role of government in overseeing trade activities. Now, we have all heard about the Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, right? And the Persian Empire, particularly the time under the Cyrus the Great, 6th century BCE, they implemented policies to promote international trade. And, the empire itself facilitated trade along the Royal Road, a vast network connecting Asia and Europe, fostering economic exchanges and cultural interactions. Now comes the Silk Road. So the Silk Road, it actually was established during the Han Dynasty, 2nd century BCE. It became a vital trade route connecting China, Central Asia, the Middle East, and the Europe. It facilitated the exchange of goods, technologies, and ideas by contributing to the growth of international trade and cultural diffusion. Now, after the Silk Road comes the medieval trade routes, medieval period. So during the medieval ages, trade routes such as the Trans-Saharan routes, the Mediterranean trade network, and the Hanseatic League in Northern Europe, it emerged promoting international trade. And these routes connected different regions, and it facilitated the exchange of goods, leading to economic growth and the rise of trading cities. Coming to the colonial era now. So after the medieval comes the colonial time, the age of exploration started, and the colonization, it brought significant changes to international trade. So we are actually seeing, through centuries, through these historical times, that how this whole concept is evolving step by step. And European powers in the colonial age, they established colonies in different parts of the world. I'm sure you have read this in your history books in school time also, because I have read this. So they talked about the colonies which these European powers made, and they established in different parts of the world. And by establishing, they traded the monopolies and extracted the resources. So these colonial powers, they played a crucial role in shaping global trade patterns and establishing trade networks. So now comes the very famous, the Treaty of Tordesillas. It was signed in 1494, and this treaty itself, it was between Spain and Portugal. So it was divided. It actually divided the newly discovered lands outside the Europe, and it aimed to resolve conflicts over colonization and trade by establishing separate spheres of influence for each country. Now comes the Treaty of Westphalia. So the Westphalia Treaty, it was during 1648. So it marked a significant turning point in diplomacy. It ended the 30 years of war and established the principles of sovereignty and non-interference in the internal affairs of the states. By laying the foundation for the modern nation-state systems and diplomatic practices. So you can see that here the modernization started to take place. And then comes the Industrial Revolution, very famous. We've heard about it. The Industrial Revolution, it started in the late 18th century, and it brought back the advancements. It actually brought many advancements in transportation and communication and production. So it led to increased international trade as countries sought resources and markets for their industrial goods. Now, today's time, we have seen so much is going on, but yes, there are some model diplomatic conferences and organizations. So diplomatic conferences and organizations, they started emerging in the 19th and the 20th century to actually address the international issues and promote the cooperation. So for example, this also includes the Congress of Vienna, 1814 to 1815, which actually aimed to restore stability in post-Napoleonic Europe. Napoleon, we've heard about him, and the United Nations. It was actually founded in 1945. So it actually seeks to maintain peace, promote development, and facilitate international cooperation. Lastly, WTO, World Trade Organization. The establishment of the World Trade Organization in 1995, it actually further shaped the international trade system. The WTO, it served as a forum for negotiations, dispute settlement, and the promotion of global trade rules by fostering a more structured and regulated international trading system. So if we analyze these historical developments of diplomacy and international trade, it has been driven by various factors, including economic interests, technological advancements, political changes, and the need for peaceful relations among nations. It has also led to increased interconnectedness, cultural exchanges, and economic development by shaping the modern globalized world. So here you can see Sri Narendra Modi ji. He said that international trade is the key to unlocking opportunities for India's businesses and citizens. Now let's talk about the statistics part of the international trade. As you can see, this shows some trends of the types of trade and their values in USD. So I'll be just briefing you out a little about this. So international trade and diplomacy, they both play crucial roles in shaping global relations and driving the economic growth. So what actually, works, and what actually are the key trends, which work in international trade and diplomacy? So number one is the global trade volume. So in international trade, it has experienced a very steady growth over the years. And according to the WTO, the World Trade Organization, the volume of world merchandise exports. So you will see a graph which talks about the exports and the imports. And the volume of the world's merchandise exports, it reached $19.9 trillion in 2020, and a decline of 5.3% compared to the previous year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it was expected to rebound and grow in the coming years, which it did. And secondly, there is regional trade agreements, the RTAs. So the regional trade agreements, they have become increasingly popular. These countries form RTAs, and they try to promote trade liberalization and deepen the economic integration and within these specific regions. So the number of RTAs, has grown significantly through the period of time, with more than 300 RTAs currently in force worldwide. It's very huge. And coming to the third part, it's shifts in the global trade pattern. So obviously, the trade pattern cannot stay constant at the same number. It shifts. If there are some patterns which can be observed and analyzed through time. The dynamics of global trade has evolved, and the emerging economies, such as China, India, and Brazil, they have increased their share of global trade. China has actually become the world's largest exporter and the second largest importer, playing a significant role in global trade flows. Now, talking about after viewing the patterns, it is very important to know the digital trade aspects also in e-commerce. Because the trade cannot always go through, we are in a modern time, the trade can also, happen through e-commerce, through the platform of e-commerce. So the rise of digital trade, here's when technology takes in, technology comes in. And the rise of digital trade and e-commerce, it actually has transformed international trade. So online platforms and digital technologies, they have facilitated cross-border transactions by enabling small and medium-sized enterprises. So we have heard about SMEs before, I mentioned it before. So these SMEs, they participate in international trade more easily. And in 2020 and in the present time also, these global e-commerce sales have reached around $26.7 trillion. Now talking about the services trade, a services trade, they actually include the sectors as tourism, finance and telecommunications, which actually have gained prominence through time. So the WTO, it estimates that services the account for more than 1/3 of global trade, with a total value of 6.8 trillion in 2020. Now talking about the diplomatic engagement. So diplomatic efforts have become increasingly important in addressing global challenges. Diplomacy, as I said earlier, it actually plays a very crucial role in negotiating trade agreements, resolving disputes and promoting cooperation. So these multilateral forums such as the UN, the G7, the G20, India is holding the presidency of G20. So these platforms, also the SCOs, these multilateral forums, the SCOs also, the Shanghai Cooperation, it served as a platform for diplomatic engagement on trade and other international issues. Next and last comes the sustainable trade. So there is a growing emphasis on sustainable trade practices. So governments, businesses, and consumers, they are slowly recognizing the importance of environmental and social responsibility in international trade. Initiatives such as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change are driving efforts to promote sustainable trade. Now, as you can see, this next slide talks about the India's top 10 trading partners. So India's top 10 trading partners, as you can see, is US, China, UAE, Hong Kong, Singapore, Germany, Japan, Netherlands, United Kingdom, and Saudi Arabia. So as India is one of the largest economies and it engages in trade with various countries across the globe, so these trading partners, they play a very crucial role here. So when I talk about US, with US is one of the India's most significant trading partner, and bilateral trade between the two countries, it has been steadily growing with a focus on sectors like IT, information technology, pharmaceuticals, and services. Now, talking about China, China is another major trading partner for India, despite occasional trade frictions they have. But the bilateral trade volume between the two countries, it remains substantial, encompassing a wide range of goods and services. Next comes UAE. So UAE has emerged, it has also emerged as a crucial trade partner for India, particularly in sectors like petroleum, gems, and jewelry, textiles, and engineering goods. So the UAE actually served as a major hub for Indian exports to other Gulf countries. Singapore. Singapore actually plays a vital role in India's trade due to its strategic location as a gateway to Southeast Asia. Bilateral trade between India and Singapore covers sectors such as IT, information technology, banking, chemicals, and oil products. Next comes Hong Kong. So Hong Kong serves as a significant trading partner for India, acting as a re-export hub for Indian goods to other parts of the world. Not only it exports, but it actually acts as a re-export hub for Indian goods to other parts of the world. The trade relation between the two countries spans, on the sectors like textiles, precious metals, and machinery. Now comes Germany. So Germany is an important trading partner for India and the European Union. The trade between the two countries primarily, it actually involves automobiles, machinery, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and information technology products. Japan. Seventh is Japan, and India shares a very cordial relation with Japan. India's trade relationship with Japan, it has witnessed a very substantial growth in the recent years. So it works on sectors like automobiles, electronic goods, machinery, and chemicals. These sectors actually they form a core of the bilateral trade between the two nations. Eighth comes the Netherlands. Netherlands, it serves as a significant trading partner for India within the European Union. The bilateral trade, it encompasses sectors such as chemicals, machinery, textiles, and agriculture products. Ninth comes the UK, United Kingdom. Despite recent changes due to the Brexit, the United Kingdom, it remains an important trade partner for India. The trade between the two countries includes sectors like textiles, machinery, pharmaceuticals, and information technology services. Last but not the least, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a crucial trading partner for India in the Middle East region. The trade relationship is centered around petroleum products, chemicals, textiles, and engineering goods. So these top 10 trading partners, these partners reflect India's diverse trade portfolio by covering a wide range of sectors and geographic regions. Strengthening these trade ties, I think, strengthening these trade ties with these countries, I think they play a vital role in India's economic growth and global intimidation. Next slide talks about the India's competitiveness in the global trade. So India has made significant strides in enhancing its competitiveness in global trade over the years. Several factors contribute to India's position as a competitive player, as an emerging player in the international trade arena. So the previous slide talked about the imports and exports and how how these imports and exports in how India do it with the 10 top trading partners. This slide actually talks about the values and how India balances these trades in terms of exports and imports with these countries. So how what factors are there? So we are seeing that it balances in a very positive way, but what factors contribute to this to this positive balance? So number one is large market size. With a population of over 1.3 billion people, India offers a vast domestic market for both domestic and foreign companies. This large consumer base, this presents immense opportunities for businesses to scale up and attract investments. Second factor would be economic growth, because India has been experiencing a robust economic growth by making it an attractive, destination for global trade. So the country's GDP growth rate, it has coupled with ongoing economic reforms, and it has created a favorable business environment for trade and investment. Third would be strategic location. India's strategic location provides a gateway to major markets in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. So this advantageous geographic position, it makes India a hub for regional trade, and it enhances its competitiveness in accessing the diverse markets. Fourth would be skilled workforce. India is known for its pool of skilled and educated workforce, particularly in the sectors such as information technology, engineering, pharmaceuticals, and services. This skilled labor force contributes to the competitiveness of Indian businesses and enhances their ability to offer high quality products and services in the global market. Fifth comes the sectoral strengths. Sectoral strengths means that India has developed significant strengths in the various sectors, including information technology, pharmaceuticals, textiles, automotive, engineering, and services. These sectors have been instrumental in driving India's export growth and global competitiveness. Sixth is the government initiatives. So the Indian government, it has implemented various initiatives and reforms to enhance the ease of doing business and promote the trade. Initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, and Skill India. These initiatives aim to boost manufacturing, digital infrastructure, and skill development, respectively, further contributing to India's competitiveness in global trade. Seventh is trade agreements. India has engaged in bilateral and regional trade agreements to expand market access and enhance trade competitiveness. Agreements such as the India-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement and the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement with various countries, it has facilitated the trade flows and reduced the trade barriers. Lastly would be technological advancements. India's advancements in technology and innovation have contributed to its competitiveness in global trade. The country has emerged as a leading destination for IT services, software development, and digital solutions by attracting foreign investments and driving the export growth. So next slide talks about, this is by Shri Narendra Modi ji, Prime Minister of India. Be bold, go global, and together we will unlock the immense potential of India's businesses in international trade and diplomacy. Now we are here talking about trade, what is international trade, the factors contributing to international trade, diplomacy, but what actually are the benefits of trade for India? So trade brings numerous benefits to India, contributing to its economic growth, development, and overall welfare. So there are some key benefits behind the trade, and these include, first of all, as I said, mentioned here only, that economic growth. When I talk about economic growth, trade actually plays a crucial role in stimulating the economic growth. By engaging in international trade, India can expand its market and reach beyond domestic borders, leading to increased demand for its goods and services. This in turn boosts production, employment, and investment, contributing to higher levels of economic activity and GDP growth. I'll give an example here. For example, Apple products. If Apple would have been selling its products in just its own area in the US or in the UK, would it be okay? Would they receive such a diverse or such a big number of sales? Because due to there was a survey, and it says that more than 92% of people who buy Apple products are Indians. So the way Apple has made its market in India is benefiting them. This is a very prime example of how crossing the domestic borders can be beneficial for a respective country if it engages in international trade. Now, second comes the increased export opportunities. International trade provides India with access to global markets by allowing its businesses to export their products and services to customers worldwide. Exporting, it allows Indian companies to tap into a much large customer base and diversify their revenue systems and generate foreign exchange earnings. So this helps to strengthen India's balance of payment position actually, and how the build of foreign currency reserves. Third is imports of goods and services. So when we talk about benefits, then obviously goods and services with trade, trade actually enables India to import goods and services that are not readily available or cost effective to produce domestically. So this import of goods and services, by importing it, India can access a wider variety of goods, including raw materials, capital goods, and technologies at a competitive prices. So this enhances the efficiency and competitiveness of domestic industries and supports their production processes. Fourth is foreign direct investments, the FDIs. So international trade often attracts foreign direct investment to India. Foreign companies, they may invest in India to establish production facilities, and they take advantage of cost-effective labor or access the domestic market. So the FDI inflows bring capital, technology, managerial expertise, and employment opportunities, contributing to economic growth, industrial development, and knowledge transfer. Fifth would be consumer benefits. So trade exposes Indian consumers to a broader range of products and services from around the world. Increased competition from imported goods can lead to lower prices, better quality, and greater choices for consumers. So this enhances the overall standard of living and consumer welfare in India. Sixth would be access to resources and inputs. International trade allows India to access vital resources such as energy, minerals, and agricultural commodities. So these agricultural commodities and energy and minerals, which may be scarce domestically. So by importing these resources, India can, ensure a stable supply and support its industrial and agricultural sectors. Additionally, trade provides access to specialized inputs and technologies, facilitating innovation, productivity growth, and competitiveness. Seventh would be knowledge and technology transfer. Trade enables the exchange of knowledge and technologies and the best practices between the countries. Through interactions with foreign businesses and exposure to global markets, Indian companies can learn from international experiences. They can adopt the advanced technologies, they can improve production processes, and enhance their competitiveness. Last would be cultural exchange and global engagement. Trade fosters the cultural exchange and international cooperation. By participating in global trade, India actually promotes its rich cultural heritage, traditions, and tourism. Additionally, trade strengthens diplomatic relations and fosters cooperation with trading partners, leading to enhanced political and economic ties. Next slide talks about the diplomacy, how diplomacy is strengthening Indian businesses on the global stage. So diplomacy plays a crucial role in strengthening Indian businesses on the global stage, by fostering favorable conditions, building relationships, and addressing challenges in international markets. There are some ways, where, we can understand this in a very easier way. Number one would be market access and trade agreements. So diplomatic efforts, they facilitate negotiations and trade agreements, that these try to improve the market access for Indian businesses. And bilateral and multilateral agreements, they help reduce the trade barriers, the tariffs and non-tariff barriers by creating a more conducive environment for Indian companies to export their goods and services. So by advocating for favorable trade terms, diplomats opens the doors to new markets and expand opportunities for Indian businesses to compete globally. Whenever we talk about diplomacy, there would be, there would be an aspect of talking about the diplomatic people, the stakeholders. So diplomats play a crucial role here. Second is investment promotion. Diplomatic missions actively, they promote India as an attractive investment destination. Through diplomatic channels, India, the Indian businesses, they receive support in identifying potential investors, establishing the connection with the foreign companies, and facilitating the investment flows. So diplomats, what they do is that they engage in investment promotion activities such as organizing trade delegations, business forums, and investment conferences. And which, this creates platforms for Indian businesses to showcase their capabilities and attract foreign investment. Third would be advocacy and representation. Diplomats act as they actually act as advocates for Indian businesses by representing their interests and addressing issues they face in foreign markets. They engage with they engage with the other governments, the host governments, and international organizations and trade bodies to address trade disputes, regulatory challenges, intellectual property rights protection, and market access barriers. So diplomats provide a voice for Indian businesses, ensuring their concerns are heard and resolved through diplomatic channels. Fourth would be market intelligence and business networking. Diplomats gather valuable market intelligence, industry insights, and economic data that can benefit Indian business. They provide information on market trends, consumer preferences, regulatory frameworks, and business opportunities in different countries. Diplomatic missions organize business networking events like seminars and trade fairs that facilitate connection between Indian businesses and foreign counterparts, fostering collaboration, knowledge exchanges, and partnership. Fifth could be support during the crisis and challenging situations. So during the times of crisis or challenges such as political instability or economic downturns or natural disasters, diplomats play a crucial role in safeguarding the interest of Indian businesses. They provide guidance, assistance, and consular support, and by helping the Indian companies, they help them navigate uncertain situations and protect their investments, assets, and personnel abroad. Six would be cultural and diplomatic exchanges. So diplomatic engagements, these cultural events and people to people exchanges, they contribute to building trust and understanding and understanding and making a goodwill with between the countries. These interactions create a favorable environment for Indian businesses to operate in foreign markets by promoting a positive perception of India and its products. And also diplomats facilitate cultural exchanges, business delegations, and high-level visits that strengthen diplomatic ties and enhances the reputation of Indian businesses globally. Last but not least, Crisis prevention, conflict resolution, very important. Diplomacy plays a crucial role in preventing conflicts and resolving disputes that could impact Indian businesses by in operating in the foreign markets. Diplomats engage in diplomatic negotiations, in diplomatic negotiations, dialogues, mediations to find peaceful resolutions to conflicts and by reducing the risks and uncertainties faced by Indian businesses. Next slide talks about the types of Indian businesses grabbing global opportunities. So Indian businesses are already there in the global market, and Indian businesses across the various sectors have been actively capitalizing, on the global opportunities, showcasing their competitiveness and contributing to India's economic growth. But there are few major, there are some types, which have successfully grabbed the global opportunities. Number one would be startups and technology companies. So India has witnessed a booming startup ecosystem with technology-driven companies making significant strides on the global stage. Startups in sectors such as e-commerce, fintech, health tech, edtech, and artificial intelligence, they have gained international recognition. Companies like Flipkart, Ola, Paytm, Byju's, and Zomato, they have expanded their operations beyond India, attracting global investments and penetrating international markets. Second would be manufacturing and engineering. So Indian manufacturing companies have ventured into global markets, leveraging Indian skilled labor, cost of advantages, and manufacturing capabilities. Companies involved in the sector such as automobiles, textiles, machinery, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals, they have established a strong presence worldwide. Examples can be Tata Motors, Mahindra & Mahindra, Bharat Forge, and Apollo Tyres. Third would be information technology and software services. So India's IT and software services, this industry itself has earned a global reputation for its quality services and skilled workforce. Indian IT companies, including the TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL Technologies, they have expanded their operations internationally, offering a range of services such as software development, IB consulting, and business process outsourcing. They have secured contracts and partnerships with global clients, contributing significantly to India's exports. Fourth would be pharmaceuticals and healthcare. So Indian pharmaceutical companies have made substantial inroads into global markets, primarily in the field of generic medicines. These companies offer cost-effective yet high-quality medicines, catering to the needs of both developed and developing countries. Companies like Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Lupin, and Cipla, they have established a strong international presence through exports and strategic collaborations. One example can be that Indian medicines are widely popular in Central Asia. The Central Asians, they love Indian medicines. So this is like one of the examples of how much the pharmaceutical industry has occupied and has, been have made its mark in the global market. Fifth would be services and outsourcing. So India has become a global hub for various service-based industries, including the business process outsourcing, the BPOs, the KPOs, the knowledge process outsourcing, legal process outsourcing, the LPOs, and engineering services. So Indian service providers, they offer a very cost-effective and skilled services to clients worldwide. Companies like Genpact, WNS Global Services, and Infosys BPM, they have expanded their global footprint, delivering services across different sectors and geographies. Last would be renewable energy. India's focus on renewable energy has led to the growth of companies specializing in solar power, wind power, and other clean energy solutions. Indian renewable energy companies such as Suzlon Energy, Renew Power, and Tata Power Renewable Energy, they have made significant investments in global markets, contributing to the global shift towards clean energy sources. Now, in the next slide, we'll be talking about the grasping global opportunities of how Indian businesses can capitalize now. So as we know that Indian businesses have immense potential to capitalize on global opportunities and expand their presence in international markets. But how to do it? But how to actually capitalize it in the global front? Number one can be that we should identify the opportunities. We should do we should conduct a market survey or market research, identifying the markets with high growth potential and demand for your products or services. And also you can consider factors such as market size, consumer behavior, competition, and regulatory environment. Next would be in the same identifying opportunities, that you have to be updated about the global trends. So you have to monitor the global trends, monitoring them, and the global trends, also the emerging technologies and evolving consumer preferences to identify new opportunities. You have to keep an eye on market disruptions, changing, in the trade policies and industry developments that could create openings for your business. Second can be, after identifying the opportunities, then comes the how to develop strategies. So first of all, in this, you have to tailor your product or services, adapt your offerings to suit the specific needs in a customized way and preferences of the target markets. Like, you can consider cultural, regulatory, and market specific requirements. Customization enhances the competitiveness of your products or services. Second would be to build a competitive advantage. So you have to identify your unique selling points and leverage them to stand out in the global market. You have to focus on the factors such as quality, cost effectiveness, innovation, customer service, or sustainable practices that can actually give you an edge over the competitors. And lastly, in this, you have to, market the entry strategy to determine the most suitable market entry approach based on the factors like market size, competition, and resources. Options can be, exporting, licensing, joint ventures, strategic partnerships, or establishing local subsidiaries. Third, now comes we have identified the opportunities, we have made the strategies. Now, how to execute it? The third comes the execute plans. First of all, in execute plans, you have to first of all establish the networks, build strong networks and relationships with key stakeholders, including distributors, suppliers, partners, and industry associations. Networking facilitates access to market information, resources, and potential customers. Second, leverage digital tools. You have to utilize the digital platform, e-commerce, and digital marketing to expand your reach and attract global customers. Develop a strong online presence through websites, social media, and e-commerce marketplaces. Third would be investing in marketing. Develop targeted marketing campaigns to raise awareness and generate demand for your product or the services you're providing. Tailor marketing messages to resonate with the target market's cultural and linguistic preferences. So linguistic aspect is very beneficial here, because obviously not everybody is of the same of the same mother tongue as you. So market is quite diverse. So linguistic approach is very much needed. Fourth would be ensuring the quality and compliance, maintaining the high quality standards and adhering to international regulations and the certifications. So the compliance part, the compliance, it enhances the credibility And it also builds trust among the global customers. Uh, then comes the government support. You have to be informed, about the government initiatives, export promotion schemes, and financial support programs. Then you can leverage these resources to overcome the barriers and access international markets. Last would be continuous learning and adaptation. You have to remain agile and adaptable to changing market dynamics. You have to continuously monitor and evaluate performance. You have to seek feedback and refine strategies to stay competitive in the global arena. Next is how can Indian businesses how Indian businesses can make a global impact. Indian businesses, as said earlier, have the potential to make a significant global impact and establish themselves as key players in the international market. But how to do it? So, number one, you can embrace, or you can, uh, invest some time in innovation technology. Number one would be investing in research and development. You have to foster a culture of innovation within the organization, and you have to allocate the resources to research and development activities, because research itself here makes it's very important, and it will actually enable the creation of unique and technologically advanced products, and or these services that can compete globally. Second would be by adopting the emerging technologies. So embracing the emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, Internet of Things, and data analytics to enhance efficiency, productivity, and customer experience. So these technologies, they can provide a competitive advantage and open doors to a new market. Second would be you have to focus on quality and compliance. Compliance is coming repetitively, so it itself, it explains that how important compliance is and what role it plays here. Number one in this would be how you have to maintain international standards. So ensuring that products or services, they meet international quality, because you can't sell just a very basic product on an international market. It has to be of that level, of that standard. It has to meet with the quality of international quality, and it also should comply with the regulations and certifications which are applicable in target markets. And quality assurance, it builds the trust among the customers, and it helps establish a positive brand reputation. Next is implementing sustainable practices. So embracing sustainable business practices such as responsible sourcing, these eco-friendly manufacturing processes, and social responsibility initiatives. This demonstrates a commitment to environmental and social stewardship, which is highly valued in the global marketplace. Third would be establishing strong partnerships. So collaborating with global companies, for example, forming strategic alliances and partnerships. Sorry, yeah, just a moment. So forming strategic alliances and partnerships with global companies to access their distribution of networks and technologies and expertise. These you can also see joint ventures happening here, license agreements, or strategic partnerships that can help Indian businesses in entering new markets or expand their reach. Next comes the engaging in public or private partnerships by collaborating with government and international organizations on the projects, that align with your business, or the objectives of it. And these public and private partnerships, it can actually help. It can provide access to funding, infrastructure, and support for market entry. Fourth would be building a global brand, because as you're entering the global market, so obviously your brand should be, it should be strong. The identity should be very strong, and you should have a very tailored market strategy. So branding is very important here, and understanding the cultural nuances and preferences of target customers, and by creating messaging, that resonates with them. And next can be that building, brand awareness through targeted advertising, public relations, and digital marketing efforts. Also, with this, you also can enhance the customer experience. So you can also focus on delivering exceptional customer experiences by, providing personalized services, efficient support, and timely communication. Positive customer experiences lead to uh, lead to brand loyalty and positive word of mouth, because when these people will have a very personalized approach towards them, they will definitely have some sort of positive things to say about you, and this can help expand your global presence. Fifth can be developing a global talent pool. We hear this term pool so many times. So attracting and retaining global talent. So by creating an inclusive and diverse work environment. So this environment can help you attract top talent from around the world, and employing individuals with diverse backgrounds, skills, and expertise to drive innovation and adapt to global market demands. Second can be investing in employing training and development. So if you have the talent, but there should be some sort of a training program also, which can provide some development opportunities to enhance employees' global business acumen, and also cross-cultural communication skill and understanding of international markets. Last would be leveraging the digital platforms. So embracing the e-commerce, as said earlier also, that e-commerce plays a very key role here, and capitalizing on the growth of e-commerce platforms, it actually helps you to reach a wider global audience, and develop user-friendly websites, which can be, very much utilizable. You can utilize online marketplaces and optimize digital marketing efforts to drive traffic and conversions. In the same thing, you can also harness the social media. Social media is like very much there, and you can utilize the social media platforms to engage with customers, gather market insights, analytics, and also promote products or services. Social media acts as a very cost effective way to build brand awareness, and it also establishes direct communication channels with international customers. Now we'll talk about the global opportunities for Indian businesses. So Indian businesses, they have a multitude of global opportunities to explore and capitalize on. The world is increasingly interconnected, and international markets offer immense potential for Indian businesses to expand their operations, increase their customer base, and drive their growth. So there can be many global opportunities for Indian businesses, like exporting goods and services, like leveraging competitive advantages, like identifying the products or the services in which India has a competitive advantage, such as textiles, IT services, pharmaceuticals, automotive components, and engineering services. Export of these goods or services to international markets where there is demand and a favorable business environment. Also, exploring niche markets, like identifying the niche markets where Indian businesses, they can provide unique and specialized products or services. This can include areas like organic food products, Ayurvedic health products, and health and wellness products, and traditional handicrafts and sustainable technologies. Second can be investing in foreign markets. So foreign direct investment, FDI. We have talked about this earlier. Explore opportunities to invest in foreign markets by establishing subsidiaries, joint ventures, or partnerships. And by investing in sectors that align with India's strengths and have growth potential, such as renewable energy, infrastructure development, healthcare, and information technology. Also, you can talk about the emerging markets because considering entering in the emerging markets with growing economies and rising consumer spending power can be very beneficial. These markets have a lot to offer because they have significant growth prospects and a chance to establish a strong foothold before competition intensifies. Third can be technology and innovation. Research and development, these collaborations, we can engage in collaborative research and development projects with global partners by leveraging their expertise, their access of funding, and develop innovative solutions for global challenges. This can lead to the creation of new technologies, patents, and competitive advantages. Second can be digital transformation. So embracing the digital technologies and leveraging them to provide innovative products, services, and business models. This includes areas such as e-commerce, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and blockchain. Fourth is global outsourcing and services. So IT and business process outsourcing, and India's expertise in IT and business process outsourcing, we can leverage that to promote, and to actually provide cost-effective and high-quality services to global clients. This includes software development, customer support, data analytics, digital marketing, and back office operations. Then you can also opt for professional services like explore opportunities on the basis of, like legal in the sectors like legal, accounting, consulting, engineering, and architectural services. So these tailored services, we when we tailor these services, they can help you to meet the specific needs of international clients and establish strong professional networks. Fifth is sustainable and renewable energy. And number one is definitely clean energy solutions. So by developing and exporting the sustainable energy solutions, including the solar power, wind energy storage systems, and energy efficient technologies, as the world, it shifts towards the renewable energy sources, there is a growing demand for these solutions globally. Then climate change mitigation, very important. Offer services which can just very technologically well, and which can address actually to the climate change challenges such as carbon capture and storage, waste management, water conservation, and sustainable agriculture. So positioning these Indian businesses as leaders in sustainability and environmental stewardship can be very beneficial. Last would be franchising or licensing. By expanding, how you can expand through franchising is that because Indian businesses, they can consider this as a very successful business model. This can actually help the brands to enter new markets, and franchising offers a very low risk entry strategy, and it also allows for rapid market penetration. Now talking about licensing. So licensing the intellectual property. So licensing Indian intellectual property, including the patents, trademarks, and copyrights to international partners. So this can actually generate revenue streams and facilitate technology transfer. Now, when we are talking about the opportunities, everything seems very positive, and there's nothing which seems wrong, right? But there are challenges which are being faced by Indian businesses in the global market. So while Indian businesses, they have a very significant opportunity in the global market, but they also have they also have to face several challenges. These challenges can actually affect their competitiveness, their growth, and their ability to make a global impact. So number one can be intense global competition. because obviously there are so many other players also, not you only working on a specific in a specific field. There can be other people also working in the same field as you. And by these competitors, these Indian businesses, they have to face competition from well-established global players, with strong brand recognition, extensive networks, and advanced technologies. Competing with these companies it actually requires offering differentiated products or services, superior quality, and competitive pricing. Now, when we talk about the competition, then there are also emerging market competition, which with lower production costs and competitive advantages in specific industries can pose very much challenges the to for the Indian businesses. So they must continually, they have to innovate, improve themselves, they have to improve their efficiency, and they have to enhance productivity to stay competitive. Second can be cultural and language barriers, very common. Culture differences, doing business in foreign markets requires navigating diverse cultural norms, customs, and business practices. So understanding and adapting to different cultures can be challenging as it affects communication and negotiation styles and relationship building. Second can be language barriers. So language barriers, these differences can hinder effective communication and create misunderstandings. So Indian businesses need to invest in language skills and translation services to overcome language barriers and build strong relationships with international partners and customers. Third would be regulatory and legal complexity. So compliance with the international regulations. I think with this, I think in this, it's by expanding into the global market. The Indian businesses, by expanding into the global market, they should navigate into complex international trade regulations, custom procedures, and compliance requirements. And also by understanding and adhering to these regulations, it can be very much time consuming and costly. Then intellectual property protection. So protecting the intellectual property, these rights, it can be a major challenge in the global market because Indian businesses, they need to ensure their patents, trademarks, and copyrights, which are, adequately protected in each market they operate in order to avoid infringement or theft. So fourth would be the infrastructure logistics. And infrastructure and the logistics, I think inadequate infrastructure is one of the major challenge. India's infrastructure, including transportation, logistics, and connectivity, it can pose a challenge for businesses aiming to compete globally. And limited port capacity, unreliable power supply, inadequate road networks, and slow logistics, it can increase cost and impact supply chain efficiency. And also by delivering, when we talk about a product, delivering is also one of the major aspects involved. So delivering products and services efficiently and on time can be a very major challenge because particularly in the remote or underdeveloped regions, Indian businesses, they have to develop a very robust logistics. And these robust logistic strategies, they have to ensure that they are timely and they are very cost effective with their delivery. Fifth would be access to finance. So when we talk about finance, there is also some limitations which come with it. That then access to finance is there, but especially in affordable capital, it is very crucial for Indian businesses to expand internationally because they may face some sort of a challenge in order to obtain adequate funding for their global expansion plans and also include investment in research and development, market entry, and also infrastructure development. So they can face some sort of a limitations here, and along with this, we can also see foreign exchange risk because there are some fluctuations which keep happening in the exchange rates, and this can impact the profitability of the international transactions and create uncertainty for Indian businesses, which are engaged in the global trade. So managing foreign exchange risk through hedging and making these strategies and financial instruments is very, very essential. Last would be talent and skills gap. So global talent acquisition, we have heard about the term acquisition. And by acquiring and retaining skilled talent with the global market expertise can be very challenging. So Indian businesses, there is a major need to access to individuals with cross-cultural competence, language skills, and international business acumen to effectively navigate global markets. Then skill development. Ensuring a skilled workforce capable of meeting international quality standards is very vital. Indian businesses, they have to invest, in training and skill development programs to enhance the capabilities of their workforce. So in order to overcome these challenges, Indian businesses, they should invest in market research, develop robust international business strategies, establish partnerships with local entities, and enhance the technological capabilities, foster innovation, and continuously adapt to changing market dynamics. Government support, also policy reforms and initiatives. This can actually help in improving infrastructure and simplifying the regulations, which can also play a crucial role in facilitating the global expansion of Indian businesses. So this talks about the major keywords. As you can see, talks about globalization, trade export, GDP, tariffs, international trade, protectionism, free trade, economic growth, employment opportunities, foreign direct investments, inflation also. Now, after the challenges, we'll also be talking about the India's rapid development, how it has developed over the past few decades. So India has seen a rapid development over the past few decades, and it has been remarkable. And the positioning they have positioned it in as one of the world's fastest growing economies. So several factors which actually contributed in India's rapid development can be economic growth, number one, because India has experienced sustained economic growth driven by factors such as domestic consumption, a young and growing workforce, increasing foreign direct investments, FDIs, and a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem. So the country has implemented economic reforms, liberalization policies, and initiatives to promote business and investment by fostering a favorable environment for growth. Second would be infrastructure development. So India has made significant strides in infrastructure development, including transportation networks, energy telecommunications, and urban development. Initiatives such as Bharatmala project for road connectivity, the Sagarmala project for port development, and the smart cities mission. It has improved connectivity. It has reduced the logistics costs, and it has enhanced the quality of life. Then information technology and innovation. So India's information technology sector, it has played a pivotal role in its rapid development. The country has become a global hub for IT services, and along with this for software development and the digital innovation. Indian companies, they have excelled in areas such as software development, artificial intelligence, e-commerce, and fintech, contributing to economic growth and job creation. Fourth would be demographic advantage. So India has a young and dynamic workforce, providing a demographic advantage for economic development. To the country's large population, it offers a vast domestic market and a pool of talent, fostering entrepreneurship, innovation, and productivity. Skill development programs and initiatives like Make in India, they aim to leverage this demographic dividend. Fifth would be strategic sectors. India has focused on developing strategic sectors to, to drive growth and create employment opportunities in industries such as manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, automotive, aerospace, and defense. They have witnessed significant growth and attracted, very many domestic and foreign investments. So the government's initiatives such as the National Manufacturing Policy and the National Solar Mission, they have contributed to the development of these sectors. Sixth would be the social development. India's rapid development has also emphasized social welfare and inclusivity. So we have initiatives like Jan Dhan Yojana, the financial inclusion, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the cleanliness campaign, Ayushman Bharat, the universal health coverage. So these initiatives, they have aimed to uplift marginalized sections of the society and to improve the living standards and ensuring equitable development. Last is global integration. So India has actively pursued global integration through trade liberalization, regional economic partnerships, and participation in international forums. The country has also diversified its trade relationships, attracting foreign investments and engaging in global supply chains. Initiatives like Act East policy and Neighborhood First policy, they have aimed to deepen the economic and strategic ties with countries in Asia and beyond. Now we'll be talking about how one can explore global opportunities for Indian businesses through diplomacy and international trade. So exploring global opportunities for Indian businesses through diplomacy and international trade, it has become increasingly important in today's interconnected world. And Indian businesses, they want to expand their presence in foreign markets. They want to capitalize on the global opportunities. But how to do it? So number one can be diplomatic relations. Diplomatic efforts by the Indian government, they play a significant role in fostering these strong relationships with other countries, bilateral and multilateral engagements, high-level visits, and diplomatic dialogues. It can help in building trust, promoting economic cooperation, and creating an enabling environment for Indian businesses to explore global markets. Second would be trade agreements. So in this, we'll be talking about the free trade agreement, FTAs. The participating in the trade agreements, and in the very preferential trade agreements, the BTAs, it opens up new avenues for Indian businesses. So these agreements, they eliminate or reduce trade barriers, including tariffs and non-tariff barriers, enabling Indian companies to access foreign markets more easily and compete on a level playing field. Okay. Then we'll be talking about market research and analysis. So thorough market research and analysis are essential for Indian businesses to identify global opportunities. This includes the understanding of the market demand, consumer preferences, competition, and regulatory frameworks in target countries. Diplomatic missions and trade bodies, they can provide a valuable insights and support in this regard. Fourth is networking and collaboration, diplomacy and international trade. These platforms facilitate networking and collaboration opportunities for Indian businesses. So participating in trade fairs, business summits, and investment forums, this allows the companies to establish contacts, explore partnerships, and showcase their products and services to international buyers. Fifth, investment promotion. So diplomatic efforts can focus on promoting India as an attractive investment destination. This includes India, highlighting India's business-friendly policies, investment incentives, skilled workforce, and infrastructure development. Engaging with the foreign investors and facilitating investment inflows helps in attracting foreign direct investment and fostering the technology transfers and knowledge exchange. Six is export promotion. So diplomatic mission businesses in promoting the exports. So this includes organizing trade delegations, buyer-sellers meet, and trade exhibitions in target countries. So diplomatic channels can be leveraged to address trade barriers. It can negotiate favorable market access and resolve trade disputes, thereby enhancing export opportunities for Indian businesses. Seventh would be skill development and capacity building. So diplomacy and international trade efforts can also focus on the skill development and capacity building for Indian businesses. This includes, by providing training programs, workshops and seminars on international business practices and export procedures and cultural sensitivities. So this can help in enhancing the capabilities of Indian companies, and it also prepares them to navigate global markets effectively. Last is the government support, which is very important. The Indian government plays a crucial role in supporting businesses through various initiatives and policies. So this includes providing financial assistance, export promotion schemes, and tax incentives to encourage businesses to explore global opportunities. And these diplomatic channels, they can work in collaboration with government agencies to ensure comprehensive support for Indian businesses in their global endeavors. So now we'll be talking about how education has its own benefits for Indian businesses. So education plays a crucial role in fostering the growth and the success of Indian businesses. It also equips entrepreneurs, managers, and employees with the knowledge, skills, and mindset necessary to thrive in a competitive business environment. So, what factors can contribute for what factors can contribute and what factors can be beneficial for Indian businesses in terms of education? Number one is knowledge and expertise. So education provides individuals with a solid foundation of knowledge and expertise in their respective fields. This knowledge enables the business professionals to make informed decisions and develop innovative strategies and navigate complex business challenges. So a well-educated workforce can actually bring in fresh ideas, insights, and best practices to Indian businesses, contributing to their overall growth and competitiveness. And next can be the enhanced problem-solving skills. Education can also help you develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which are very crucial. Which are crucial for businesses to overcome challenges and identify opportunities. So through education, individuals can learn how to analyze the situations, gather relevant information, and also how to make effective decisions. And these skills enable Indian businesses to adapt to change, the market dynamics and develop innovative products and services and stay ahead of the competition. Next is the enhanced communication and collaboration. So education also fosters effective communication and collaboration skills, which are vital for building relationships with customers, suppliers, and partners. So good communication skills, they enable businesses to convey their ideas, negotiate effectively, and also build trust with the stakeholders. And additionally, education can also encourage teamwork, leadership skills, and also interpersonal skills by promoting a collaborative work culture within the Indian businesses. Now comes the ethical and responsible business mindsets and business practices. So education also promotes ethical and responsible business practices, which can, it emphasizes the importance of integrity, social responsibility, and sustainable development. Because businesses that prioritize ethical practices and sustainability tend to build stronger relationships with stakeholders. And with this, they can enhance their brand reputation and attract conscious consumers. And these educated professionals are more likely to understand the long-term benefits of ethical practices and embed them into their own core values of their Indian businesses. And last is entrepreneurial mindset. So education also nurtures an entrepreneurial mindset by fostering creativity, risk taking, and innovation. So it encourages the individuals to think critically, identify market gaps, and seize business opportunities. A strong entrepreneurial ecosystem supported by education institutions, it enables aspiring entrepreneurs to acquire the necessary skills and knowledge to start and grow successful businesses in India. With this, we'll go to the next slide. So now we'll be talking about the how to boost. Very important because as we have previously talked about the benefits of education. So how to use that knowledge and help it with its help try or to boost your own business in the global market. So there are some ways in which education can contribute to the growth and development of Indian businesses. As we talked about previously, that these can be skill developments, entrepreneurship development, industry relevant knowledge. In industry relevant knowledge, these institutions can offer programs that align with industry's needs, providing students with practical and relevant knowledge, incorporating industry collaborations, internships, and real world projects. So education can bridge the gap between academic learning and the demands of the business world. Then comes the global exposure. By studying abroad, by having these study abroad programs, so exchange programs and international collaborations, these Indian students, they can develop a global mindset and gain insights into international business environments. Then comes continuous learning, which is, education, is instills a culture of lifelong learning. So even if, one has to learn something, and through this continuous professional development programs, workshops, and industry certifications, these can help professionals enhance their skills and adapt to a evolving market. And this actually focuses on the continuous learning, which ensures that Indian businesses remain competitive and agile in a rapidly changing business landscape. And obviously, research and innovation. Seventh would be ethical and sustainable practices. And last but not least, networking and collaboration. So networking here is very important because through these networking events, seminars, and conferences, by having students, faculty, industry experts, and business professionals, so we can, education itself can help you foster connections and collaborations that can lead to business opportunities, knowledge sharing, and mutual growth. So if you are not the only one who's growing, you are taking others with you, and all of you are going together. So this helps you in terms of market expansion, access to resources and strategic alliances. Now we'll be talking about the educational opportunities for global challenges. So there are, as we know that educational opportunities, they play a vital role in preparing individuals to tackle the global challenges effectively. And in a very rapidly changing world, education serves as a very powerful tool in order to address various global issues and foster sustainable development. But there are some factors which, are the key aspects of education opportunities in the context of global challenges. Number one can be awareness and understanding, because by raising the awareness of and understanding of global challenges, education, it equips individuals with the knowledge and about the issues such as climate change, poverty, inequality, human rights, and environmental degradation. So by offering courses, programs, and initiatives that focus on these challenges, education helps individuals to comprehend the complexities and interconnections of global issues. Then critical thinking and problem solving, as explained earlier, this encourages individuals to analyze complex situations and consider multiple perspectives and develop innovative solutions. So through interactive learning experiences, case studies, and practical exercises, Education enhances individuals' ability to identify and respond to global challenges effectively. Then empathy and cultural understanding. I always make sure that I follow this aspect in my work because empathy is very important. Education itself, education opportunities. These they offer you a lot of areas where you can show empathy, and it also fosters your empathy and cultural understanding by enabling the individuals to embrace diversity and collaborate across the borders. So by promoting these cross-cultural interactions, multicultural classrooms, and international exchanges, um, and, education nurtures a global mindset. So this understanding of different perspectives and cultures is crucial in terms of tackling global challenges that actually require collective action and cooperation. Then comes sustainable development education, very important because sustainable development education, it emphasizes the importance of the balancing economic growth, social development, and environmental sustainability. So by integrating these principles across various disciplines, education prepares individuals to address pressing global challenges such as climate change, resource depletion, and ecosystem degradation. Then technology and innovation. So by integrating technology into education, individuals, they can gain these skills to leverage digital tools and platforms for finding innovative solutions to complex global issues. Then collaborations and partnerships, through joint research projects or community engagement initiatives or cross-sector partnerships. Education actually helps you strengthen the capacity to address global challenges collaboratively. Seventh and last would be ethical leadership. So, by integrating ethics, leadership development, and into the educational curricula, so individuals, they are empowered to make informed decisions, and they drive positive change in their communities in the world. Now, strengthening global connections through skill development. We have, heard about skill development in previous slides also. So just to cut it short, strengthening global connections through skill development is very essential in today's interconnected world. And skill development, these programs, they play a very important role in empowering individuals with necessary expertise and capabilities to engage in international collaboration and to contribute to global projects and address complex global challenges. So what all aspects, contribute in this strengthening our number one, enhanced employability, because by acquiring skills, that are in demand globally, individuals can access job opportunities across the border and contribute to international organizations or multinational corporations. Then cultural intelligence and adaptability, because by offering training or cultural sensitivity, communication skills, and intercultural competence, individuals can develop and the capacity to adapt to different cultural norms and work effectively with international counterparts. So this in a way enhances their ability to form meaningful connections and collaborate across borders. Language proficiency comes next, and very important because there are some very difficult language across the globe, but learning them, the proficiency in languages such as English, Mandarin, Spanish, or Arabic, this can significantly enhance individuals' ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds and engage in global business transactions. And with this comes digital literacy also, because in the digital age, skill development programs which focus on digital literacy and technology skills are very essential for global connections. And digital literacy, it also empowers individuals to engage in the digital economy and tap into global opportunities. Lastly, would be lifelong learning, because skill development is a lifelong journey. It's never ending. And given the rapid pace of change in today's world, continuous learning and upskilling yourself is very essential for individuals to remain competitive and adapt to evolving global trends, skills, and because these skill development programs, these programs that promote lifelong learning, instill a mindset of curiosity, adaptability, and resilience. And it also enables the individuals to stay connected to global developments and seize emerging opportunities, increasing international trade through education. So we were talking about the how it's very much helpful. Education is helpful in terms of strengthening the Indian businesses. So how increasing international trade through education can be beneficial or can be helpful. Increasing international trade, I think this is a very powerful strategy because it will promote economic growth, foster global partnerships, and drive innovation. Education, as said earlier, it actually plays a very critical role in equipping individuals and businesses with the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate the complexities of international trade. So what aspects can be, we can think of here that that can, contribute in increasing international trade? Trade-related education, because in order to understand international business, economics, logistics, and trade policy, the providing the individuals with a comprehensive understanding of the intricacies of the global trade. This can be beneficial, in terms of making them understand what are these aspects and how, they, in by how they contribute. Along with this, by offering some courses, workshops, and certifications in these areas, education institutions, they can equip students and professionals and entrepreneurs with the and by providing them with an expertise which is very much required to engage in international trade activities effectively. Cultural understanding, in order to understand the cultural differences and adapting communication styles, it can enhance business negotiations, customer relation, and overall trade outcomes. Language proficiency, as said earlier, very important because communication, the way you communicate with the other person, it actually is very much effective. And by communicating with partners, with partners from diverse linguistic backgrounds, you can break down those language barriers, and that you can also facilitate smoother business transactions. Then market research and analysis, how these market entry strategies work, decision regarding the product development and international expansion. One should have a good idea about market trends, consumer preferences also. And also to understand the assets of how this assessment of market feasibility works. So very important. Legal and regulatory compliance, like by understanding the legal requirements and compliance procedures, it ensures that business operates within the bounds of international trade laws, and by mitigating the risk and ensuring smooth cross-border transactions. And digital skills in e-commerce, entrepreneurship, and innovation, which is culture. By nurturing a culture of innovation, education actually inspires individuals to create new products or services or business strategies that have the potential to disrupt markets and attract international customers. And lastly, networking and collaboration, very important because it will ultimately lead to increased international trade. Now we'll be talking about the impact of cultural exchange on Indian businesses. So how cultural exchange impacts the Indian businesses, by enhancing the business relationships. Because by taking the time to learn about a respective culture or respect the customs, respective customs or traditions of other cultures. So Indian businesses, they can establish trust, mutual respect, and a long-term partnership, which can lead to increased collaboration and trade. Then also by facilitating communication channels, very important because through this, this will avoid the misunderstandings and also improve overall business interactions. And this can actually lead to a more smoother negotiations better customer relations, and strong business connections. Then expanding the market reach, understanding, catering to the specific cultural needs, and also how this can increase the chances of success. When we are entering into a new market, as Indian businesses, they can offer culturally relevant products and experiences that resonates with the local consumers, and also promoting the innovation part and the creativity by incorporating the ideas and practices from other cultures. So Indian businesses can develop unique products, services, and business models that differentiate them in the global marketplace. And fostering the diversity and inclusion and global reputation, because this can enhance their brand image and attract international partners, customers, and investors who value cultural diversity and social responsibility. Now, in the next slide, we'll be talking about the role of negotiations and agreements in trade. Negotiations and agreements, they play a very crucial role in an international trade by facilitating mutually beneficial outcomes and resolving conflicts between trading partners. But what aspects do fall into this regard that can that plays a major role in terms of negotiations and agreements in trade? Number one is establishing terms and conditions, because negotiations and agreements, they provide a platform for trading partners to establish the terms and conditions of their trade and the trade relationship which they have. This includes determining the scope of trade, the types of products or services involved, pricing mechanisms, quality standards, intellectual property rights, and other relevant aspects. And also by promoting fair and equitable trade, by negotiating agreements, and the countries can establish rules and regulations that promote transparency, non-discrimination, and a level playing field for a participant in the global marketplace. Then also resolving disputes and conflicts. Very important, because these agreements, such as trade dispute settlement mechanisms, they provide a framework for resolving conflicts and enforcing trade rules, facilitating market access. So this actually enables the businesses to access new markets more easily, because in order to learn about agreements such as free trade agreements and regional trade agreements, these can actually establish a preferential, the aspect which most of the global people, the global companies, or the global the person who you are the company who you are targeting, the consumers, they have their own preferences. So their preferential trade terms, and this can actually eliminate or reduce the barriers, which can make which can enable the businesses to access new markets more easily. And harmonizing these standards and regulations, promoting economic cooperation by doing joint projects, technology transfer. This can actually work as in a very enhanced competitiveness and economic growth for all the parties involved. And also providing sustainability plans, and also stability, predictability, because with this stability actually promotes the confidence and also the confidence in among the traders, and it also encourages investment and facilitates long-term planning and business decision making. So this in the next slide we can see some negotiation trends of Indian trade and how through time it has increased. So from 2014 to 2023, we can see that India has actively engaged in various trade negotiations, aiming to expand its global trade relations and strengthen its economic ties with key trading partners. So in this, they are major negotiations which they have made is RTA, the regional trade agreements, bilateral trade agreements, service trade liberalization, given and also intellectual property rights, agricultural trade, and digital trade and e-commerce. These aspects are very much listed in the WTO, and how these discussion, these they provide different discussion forums to address such issues, which such as data localization, cross-border data flows, etc. So through this period, India has continued to actively engage in trade negotiations, pursuing its economic interests, protecting domestic industries, and striving for a fair and balanced global trading system. So a brighter future of Indian businesses. So the period from 1991 to present 2023, it has witnessed significant transformations in the Indian business landscape, leading to a promising future for Indian businesses in the global arena, which we can see how economic liberalization took place, information technology and services had their major role involved. Manufacturing and export growth is one of the major key here. And foreign direct investments, the FDI, services sector expansion, startups and innovation, global trade integration. There's so much of opportunities, global trade integration, and infrastructure development, renewable energy and sustainability, growing of the middle class and domestic market. So now talking about my own work, the foundation I represent. So the foundation is a global think. Tillotoma Foundation is a global think tank. So we focus on exploring diplomacy at work. So as an organization which is very much dedicated in promoting international understanding and cooperation, so it plays a crucial role in analyzing and shaping diplomatic strategies. And through our work, we also talk about policies and how to address the global challenges and opportunities. So through our research, advocacy, and engagement initiatives, the foundation actually seeks to foster dialogue and collaboration among other nations, businesses, and civil society. And one of the key areas where we excel is in promoting the diplomatic efforts for sustainable development and global governance. And also, we are very neutral, we are very inclusive, follow gender equality by heart, and we have almost more than 90% of women working in the foundation. So, women empowerment. And the foundation, it conducts in in-depth research and analysis, on various issues such as climate change, diplomatic, conflicts or diplomatic topics such as of different topics related to different nations, talking about their relations and economic policies, human rights. We also talk about different innovative solutions for the global challenges. We have hosted many talks. For example, the current Russia-Ukraine crisis which happened, we hosted many roundtables, we hosted many talks in which we had a panel of people who talked about solutions, who talked about why is it happening. And through our multidimensional approach to diplomacy, this helps us in a way to provide innovative solutions. And talking about diplomacy, track to diplomacy is very much important here, because we, in our work, our contributions to the diplomacy, they extend beyond traditional diplomatic channels. And through the foundation itself, it recognizes the importance of leveraging technology and digital platforms to enhance diplomatic efforts. So through these track to diplomatic dialogues, and by providing a platform for open and constructive discussions, so we encourage collaborations, trust building, and exchange of ideas. And these efforts made by everyone, it to fostering stronger diplomatic relations and enhancing mutual understanding among the nations. So this slides, you can see me, in my whole experience, in my 2.5 year experience, my journey with the foundation is very much, I'm very grateful for it, because I have been doing, I've been a bit practitioner of track to diplomacy. And, through this, it has allowed me
the foundation, it has allowed me to combine my passion for international relations with practical engagement, and also by making tangible contribution to global challenges. So the foundation's commitment to fostering dialogue, trust building, and collaboration has created an environment that nurtures personal growth and professional development. And with our every approach, it has also enabled me to overcome geographical barriers, linguistic barriers, because I think we speak all the languages. We have people speaking languages all across the areas, and we collaborate with like-minded individuals who share a passion for making a positive impact. Through all my work, through attending all these webinars and being there talking about various issues, I got a chance to connect with individuals from different parts of the world. This slide talks about the Track to Diplomatic Conclaves at the Tillotoma Foundation. Very interesting conclaves which happened. For example, India-Iran Track to meeting on bilateral and regional issues, international conferences on India, Trinidad and Tobago relations, conference on reforms in Uzbekistan and Uzbek-India relations, India-Russia Track to meeting on Central Asia, track to conclaves on India-Georgia relations, roundtable on India-Iran relation and contemporary Iran, conclave on India-UAE relation and emerging dimensions of synergy, and so on. So these are the top track to diplomatic conclaves which the foundation has hosted, which had participation, which had ministerial participation, and also government officials, highly qualified scholars also took part in such conferences. So talking about the academic aspects, so we at the foundation, we are here to provide through my this whole presentation, I was talking about the academic programs, these workshops, these seminars. So as the director of the academic programs, I at the foundation, I always get a chance to talk to the youth, communicate with them, and we at the foundation try to always come up with new programs which are accessible, affordable. And this academic program, as you can see on your screens, the ongoing program, this is a summer cohort, and with this we are trying to provide the students with an international exposure. We also give you a certification, which is very much important these days, because the right certification is very important. LORs, which can definitely help you with your in your career in terms of applying to applying to different places for jobs. And you also get access to diplomatic seminars, in which we have these high-level participations, in which we have people talking about different issues of diplomacy, or it also covers some personal development and of the students. So in terms of covering topics like international relations, diplomacy, area studies, geopolitics, international law, international trade, climate change, gender and IR, science policy and defense policy. So in this 2-month diploma course, we have made it accessible, affordable, and at a very minimal cost, and which is not taught by a very normal person, but by these global experts who are who have a very great expertise in their own respective fields, and they provide their practical experience. And also through our team is there who provides personal guidance in career counseling. We have a wide range of relevant topics which are covered and at a very minimal cost, which and also with leading global experts. There are some leading global experts includes diplomats, professors, international journalists, and military leaders. So this is the ongoing program, and it's running so well. So such programs are very much needed to understand the youth's interest. Last, I would just like to conclude by saying that Indian businesses, they can seize numerous opportunities in international relations and trade, and by keeping the top takeaways in mind, we can build strong diplomatic relationships. We can understand the global market trends. We can invest in research and development. We can embrace digital transformation. We can also enhance cross-cultural competence. We can navigate trade regulations. We can also collaborate and we can also talk about collaborating and networking and prioritizing the quality and standards, mitigating the risk, and also fostering a cultural of continuous learning and adaptation. These are like the main keys to success. And by incorporating these strategies, I think into operations, Indian businesses can position themselves as global players, which and they can expand their market reach, forge valuable partnerships, and contribute to India's economic growth on the international stage. Because I think by understanding this dynamics of international trade and having a very proactive approach, Indian businesses have the potential to thrive in the ever-evolving global business landscape. Thank you very much. For any queries, you can definitely reach out to me on the respective emails mentioned. And it also mentions our website. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the best, I mean, I can say the best lecture till date for JKS, and where we got to know about international trade and how exactly it works in India, and where we are standing here right away.